Hey everyone, it's so good to be with you today. Before we dive in, I want to take a moment to thank all of you. Whether you're brand new to this community or you've been with me from day one, your support means the world to me. Today, we're talking about something I see all the time in my coaching sessions, how financial independence fundamentally changes your dating dynamics. And this isn't just theory. This is real life. Let me start with a question. Have you ever noticed how people's behavior toward you shifts when your financial situation improves? There's this fascinating energy shift that happens, and I want to break down exactly what's going on and how you can navigate it. I was working with a client recently. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah had spent years building her career, focusing on her growth, and establishing herself financially. She was in her early 40s, had her own beautiful home, a thriving business, and for the first time in her life, she had real financial security. Then something interesting happened. Suddenly, men who had never given her a second glance were appearing in her life. Her DMs were filling up. Old flames were just checking in. And she asked me, "Matthew, what's happening? I'm the same person I was before." But here's the truth. She wasn't giving off the same energy as before. Money isn't just numbers in your bank account, it's an energy that you carry. It affects your posture, your confidence, the way you speak about the future, the decisions you make without hesitation. When you have financial stability, you walk differently. You don't hesitate when the bill comes. You don't stress about buying that flight ticket to visit a friend. You make decisions from abundance rather than scarcity, and that energy is incredibly attractive. But here's where we need to be careful, because this newfound attention isn't always coming from a genuine place. Let me paint a picture for you that I see far too often. You're a successful woman in your 40s or 50s. You've built your life, your career, your home, your financial independence. You've done the work. And now here comes this charming man who's suddenly very interested in you. He's attentive. He's complimentary, perhaps he's quite handsome, and after years of focusing on your career rather than your love life, this attention feels amazing. But I want you to pause right there. In my years of coaching, I've seen countless women fall into relationships where the other person is primarily attracted to what they have, not who they are. And it's not always obvious from the start. Here's a simple question I want you to ask yourself. When someone new enters your life, what is this person really after? If you're past the age where starting a family is on the table, and this person is coming on strong quickly, you need to examine their motives with clear eyes. Are they interested in companionship that enriches both your lives, or are they looking for someone to fund their lifestyle? I worked with a client, I'll call her Rebecca, who met a man shortly after selling her business for a significant sum. He was charming, attractive, and seemed completely smitten with her. Within 3 months, he'd moved into her home. Within 6 months, he'd convinced her to invest in his new business venture. Within a year, she'd lost over $200,000 and discovered he was seeing someone else on the side. This isn't meant to scare you, it's meant to empower you with awareness. Let's address something important. You might hear men online complaining about successful, financially independent women. They'll say things like, "Men don't want women who are always competing with them," or "Women with their own money are too difficult." Here's what's really happening. The only men intimidated by your financial independence are men whose only value proposition is financial provision. Let me say that again. If all a man brings to the table is money, then your financial independence threatens him. Because what does he have left to offer? A high-value man, a man who knows he brings emotional depth, intellectual stimulation, genuine partnership, and real connection to a relationship, isn't threatened by your success. He celebrates it. I was speaking with a friend recently who runs a successful tech company. She told me about her husband's reaction when she closed a major deal that significantly increased her net worth. Rather than feeling threatened, he organized a surprise celebration for her, inviting her closest friends and family. When I asked him about it later, he said, "Her success is our success. Why would I be anything but thrilled?" That's the reaction of a secure man who knows his value extends far beyond his bank account. Here's something that doesn't get talked about enough. Money has traditionally been a control mechanism in relationships. When someone provides financially for you, there's an inherent power dynamic. They can subtly or not so subtly influence decisions by reminding you of their financial contribution. They can make you think twice before expressing needs or setting boundaries. Financial independence neutralizes that control mechanism. When you can take care of yourself, no one can use money to manipulate your choices. And for some men, particularly those who've been socialized to believe that being the provider is their primary value, this loss of control is deeply unsettling. I see this dynamic play out constantly in my coaching sessions. Women who've achieved financial independence suddenly find themselves setting boundaries they never would have set before. They're willing to walk away from relationships that don't serve them because they don't fear the financial consequences. That freedom, that ability to choose based on genuine connection rather than financial necessity, is incredibly powerful. But it also means that people with controlling tendencies may try even harder to find other ways to establish control. There's a phrase I've heard that perfectly captures a particular dating pattern: looking for a nurse with a purse. It describes someone, often a man who's been previously married, who's looking for a partner who will not only take care of them financially, but also care for them as they age. I've seen this dynamic repeatedly, particularly with women in their late 40s and 50s, who find themselves being pursued by men who present themselves as charming companions, but are actually looking for financial security and caretaking. Let me share an observation from my time working with couples. When both partners have healthy financial lives, the relationship tends to be based on genuine choice rather than necessity. They're together because they want to be, not because one depends on the other for survival. But when one person is financially secure and the other isn't, and there's a quick rush to commitment, I always advise my clients to slow down and examine the foundation of the connection. Is there genuine chemistry and compatibility, or is convenience and financial security driving the relationship? These aren't comfortable questions, but they're essential ones. One of the most important pieces of advice I give my clients who have significant assets is this: make financial decisions with your head, not your heart. I understand this can feel cold or unromantic. We've been conditioned to believe that love means giving freely and without reservation. But there's nothing unloving about protecting what you've worked hard to build. I had a client, let's call her Jennifer, who had built a successful real estate portfolio over 20 years. She met a man who quickly moved their relationship into serious territory. Within months, he was suggesting they combine their assets, because that's what people who really love each other do. Jennifer felt uncomfortable, but also worried that her hesitation meant she didn't truly love him. When we discussed it in our session, I asked her, if the situation were reversed, would he be rushing to put your name on his assets? The question gave her clarity. She realized his push for financial entanglement wasn't about love, it was about access. Here's my practical advice. Take your time before combining finances. Maintain separate accounts even after marriage. Consider a prenuptial agreement. Yes, even if you're marrying for love. Consult with a financial advisor and attorney about protecting your assets. Be transparent about your boundaries around money. None of these precautions prevent you from being generous or supportive. They simply ensure that your generosity comes from choice rather than exploitation. Have you ever noticed that the people most likely to say money isn't everything, or love is all you need, are often the ones bringing little financial stability to the relationship? There's a reason for that. When someone has experienced the stress and limitation of financial insecurity, they rarely minimize the importance of financial stability. They know firsthand how money worries can erode even the strongest love. In my coaching practice, I've worked with countless couples where financial strain was the primary source of conflict. Research consistently shows that financial issues are among the leading causes of relationship breakdown. So when someone tries to fast-track intimacy while dismissing conversations about financial compatibility, that's a red flag. A mature partner understands that loving someone means wanting stability and security for them, and that includes financial security. There's been a lot of talk about 50-50 relationships where both partners contribute equally to expenses. And while equality sounds good in theory, I've seen this arrangement become problematic when there's significant income disparity. If you're financially successful and your partner insists on a strict 50-50 split despite earning significantly less, ask yourself, is this about fairness or is it about pride and control? I worked with a couple where the woman earned 3 times what her partner did, yet he insisted they split all household expenses exactly down the middle. This meant she was living well below her means while he was stretching beyond his. When we dug deeper, it became clear his insistence on 50-50 was about maintaining a sense of control in a relationship where he felt financially inferior. A healthier approach is proportional contribution, where each person contributes relative to their income, combined with open communication about how to navigate the practical aspects of income disparity. If there's one piece of advice I want you to take away today, it's this: time reveals truth. The person who's genuinely interested in you, not your assets, will respect your pace. They won't rush you into financial entanglements. They won't make early suggestions about how you should spend your money. They won't have sudden business opportunities that just need some investment from you. One of my clients, a successful entrepreneur in her 50s, implemented what she called her 1-year rule. She wouldn't make any significant financial decisions involving a new partner until they'd been together for at least a year. This gave her time to see the person in different situations, to meet their friends and family, to observe how they handled their own finances, and to watch how they responded to both good times and challenges. This rule saved her from making a costly mistake when a charming man she'd been dating for 3 months suggested they buy property together. By slowing down and observing over time, she noticed concerning patterns in how he managed money that would have created real problems had they entangled their finances. The beautiful thing about financial independence is that it gives you the freedom to choose relationships based on genuine connection rather than necessity. When you don't need someone to provide for you, you can choose partners based on compatibility, shared values, and authentic chemistry. Here are some qualities to look for that indicate someone values you beyond your financial assets. They're interested in your thoughts and feelings, not just your accomplishments. They have their own life and passions. They respect your boundaries around money and time. They have a healthy relationship with their own finances. They celebrate your success without trying to take credit for it. They contribute to the relationship in non-financial ways, and they're transparent about their own financial situation.
I worked with a client who described how she knew her partner valued her for herself. When I lost a major client and was stressed about the financial hit, his first concern was for my emotional well-being, not the money. He didn't panic about what it meant for our lifestyle. He focused on supporting me through the disappointment.
That's what genuine connection looks like. I want to leave you with some practical guidance for navigating dating. When you're financially successful, start by maintaining privacy around your finances initially. You don't need to disclose your net worth or salary early in dating. Allow someone to know you as a person before they have detailed information about your financial situation. Then watch how they handle small financial interactions. Do they split bills fairly? Do they offer to pay sometimes? Are they comfortable when you pay? These small moments reveal larger patterns that tell you so much about a person's relationship with money. Pay attention to their reaction to your success. When you share good news about your career or finances, do they seem genuinely happy for you, or do they seem threatened or immediately start thinking about how it benefits them? This is incredibly revealing. Introduce them to your trusted circle. Sometimes our friends and family can see warning signs we're blind to. If multiple people you trust express concerns, pay attention to that. There's usually fire where there's smoke. Before combining lives, Have those deeper conversations about money values before moving in together or getting married. Have explicit conversations about how you'll handle finances. Different approaches aren't necessarily right or wrong, but incompatible approaches can create significant problems down the road. And finally, don't hesitate to seek professional protection. Work with financial advisors and attorneys who specialize in protecting assets. This isn't about lack of trust. It's about responsible stewardship of your financial security. Having financial independence changes how people see you and interact with you, especially in the dating world. That's simply reality. But understanding this dynamic gives you power. You get to set the terms for how your financial success interacts with your romantic life. You get to decide who deserves access to the life you've built. And you get to choose partners who enhance your already full life, rather than those looking to extract value from it. Remember, the right person won't see your financial success as something to exploit. They'll see it as just one of the many wonderful aspects of the amazing person you are. Thank you for spending this time with me today. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. And if you know someone who needs to hear this message, please share it with them. Until next time, take care of yourself. And remember, you deserve someone who values all of you, not just your bank account. With love and respect, Matthew.